Have you ever really stopped to think about what's going on when a guitarist plays a note? I mean, really think about it. Today, we're going to pull back the curtain and look at the hidden physics of the guitar. And you're about to see that it's not just an instrument for making music. It's a full-on science experiment you can hold in your hands. We all know this shape, right? It's iconic. We see it on stage, we hear it in our favorite songs. It's a total symbol of art and creativity. But underneath all that music is a world of pure, predictable physics. So what you're looking at isn't just wood and steel. It's this incredibly engineered device for creating and controlling vibrations. You know, the great composer J.S. Bach made it all sound so incredibly simple. And, in a way, he's not wrong. A simple touch at just the right time, and boom, you get music. But how? What's the secret mechanism that turns that one simple action into such a rich, beautiful sound? Well, that's the mystery we're going to solve today. Okay, let's start at the very, very beginning, plucking a single string. It's about the most basic thing you can do on a guitar. But is the sound that comes out of it as simple as the action itself? Let's dig in. So, if you've ever picked up a guitar, you know the deal. It's got 6 strings, and each one has its own name and its own note. You've got that deep, thick, low E all the way up to the thin, bright, high E. And the unique voice of each string, it all comes down to how thick it is and how tight it's wound. Simple physics. All right, so you pluck one of those strings, and you hear a note. It sounds like one clean, distinct pitch. But here's where it gets really cool. Our ears are actually playing a little trick on us. That one pluck doesn't just create one note. It awakens a whole hidden choir of notes, all singing together in perfect harmony.
And this is the big idea for today. That single note you hear is actually a hidden choir of notes. It's this collection of a whole bunch of different pitches, all vibrating at the exact same time. So why do we only really hear one note? Okay, let's get a closer look.
So if we can't fully hear this hidden choir, how do we even know it's there? Well, what if we didn't have to just rely on our ears? What if we could actually see the sound? Let's take a look at what a physicist sees when they analyze that very same sound wave. Okay, now this is fascinating. What you're looking at is basically a picture of that sound. Physicists use a special technique that's kind of like a prism for sound. It splits a complex note into all of its individual parts. And look what we've got. It's not one single spike, it's a whole family of them. Each one of those spikes is a different note, a different frequency, all born from that one single pluck. Let's give these things some names, shall we? That tallest spike, the one that's the loudest and clearest, that's called the fundamental. Think of it as the lead singer of our choir. Now, all those smaller spikes, those are the harmonics. They're the backup singers, the quieter, higher notes that give the guitar its unique personality, its warmth and richness. And this right here, this shows us how those notes are actually living on the string. Each one of those harmonics is a different vibration pattern. The fundamental, that's the whole string waving up and down. The second harmonic is the string vibrating in 2 parts, the third in 3, and it just keeps going. And the craziest part? All of this is happening at the exact same time on that one string. So a single string is this whole complex world of sound. But music isn't just one note droning on and on. So how does a guitarist take control of this hidden choir to play melodies and chords? Let's see how they go about taming these sound waves.
Well, the most straightforward way to control the sound is by fretting a note. An open string vibrates along its entire length, giving you its lowest possible note. But the second you press your finger down on a fret, you're actually shortening the part of the string that can vibrate. And a shorter string vibrates faster, which gives you a higher pitched note. It's that simple.
So when you see a guitarist's fingers just flying across the fretboard, what they're doing is constantly and precisely changing the length of those strings. With every single movement, they're picking a new lead singer for that hidden choir. And that's how you get a melody. All right, so changing the lead singer is pretty cool. But what about the backup singers? What if a guitarist could tell the lead singer to just take a break for a second and let one of those high, shimmery harmonics have a moment in the spotlight? Well, it turns out they totally can. Oh yeah, and it is such a cool piece of applied physics. Look here on the left, the guitarist is just lightly touching the string right at its exact middle point. This creates something called a node, a spot on the string that can't vibrate. Now, look at the graph on the right. Whoa, the biggest spike, the fundamental, is gone. It's vanished. By creating that node, the guitarist has silenced the lead singer and let the other harmonics shine through. It might sound complicated, but it's this incredibly simple, really elegant technique. You just gently touch the string at a very specific spot, you pluck it, and then you lift your finger right away. The sound you get is this pure, almost bell-like tone. You've just given one of the backup singers a solo. Okay, so we've seen how a single note is this surprisingly complex universe of sound. But music is rarely about just one note, right? So how do we combine all these complex sounds to build the rich textures we hear in chords? A chord is so much more than just a random bunch of notes played at the same time. You can think of it like a recipe. It's a very precise combination of these complex, harmonic-rich sounds, all blended together to create a very specific feeling or mood. And this is what the recipe book looks like for a musician. A chord diagram is just a visual guide. It tells you exactly how to manipulate the strings, which ones to shorten and by exactly how much, to get that perfect blend of fundamentals and harmonics you're looking for. And here is the magic of that recipe brought to life. With just one strum, the guitarist unleashes multiple choirs of harmonics all at once. The result is this incredible cascade of sound, a symphony of dozens, maybe hundreds of frequencies, all vibrating together in perfect, planned-out harmony. So, the next time you see a guitarist playing, I want you to remember what's really happening under the hood. They're not just making music. They're actively manipulating the laws of physics. In a way, every musician is an intuitive physicist. So let's quickly retrace our steps. We started with one single pluck. We discovered a whole hidden choir of harmonics. We learned how pushing down on a fret changes the lead singer, and how playing harmonics can give one of the backup singers a solo. And then we saw how chords are just a huge symphony of all these choirs playing together. It's just a beautiful reminder that music, at its very core, is physics you can feel. You know, this connection is nothing new. Plato understood it thousands of years ago when he said, "In the patterns of music are the keys of learning." And today, we've literally seen those patterns in the form of sound waves and harmonics. The physics of vibration really are the keys that unlock the music. And this brings us to one last lingering question. We can map the frequencies. We can measure the wavelengths. We understand the physics of it all. But if music is just a bunch of organized vibrations, why does it move the soul? Why does it make us feel things? Well, that, I think, is where the science ends and the art begins.